Okay, welcome to this video where I'll show you how to install the Quant Black trade server on an Amazon server. The reason you might want to do this is because for starters you want to be running your algorithms 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you want it on a remote server, and Amazon do offer free servers that are capable of doing this. So the Quant Black server has actually got some software installed to make it super simple to deploy new EAs and update existing EAs running on a remote server. So once it's all set up, which I'll take you through, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to set up, but once it's all set up you don't need to log into the VPS. You can just log into your Quant Black dashboard. If you click on your email address up here and go to strategy deployment, you'll get this screen and it'll show you all the MT4s you have running on your remote server. I've got 4 of them set up here. It'll show you all the strategies you have access to, and if you want to upload your own strategies, they don't have to be Quant Black strategies, but you can upload your own strategies and they'll be added to this list. And then all you need to do is check the strategies you want on that MT4 instance. So I've got one for live trading, I've got one for demo trading, I've got a couple of different brokers. You might only have one here, but you can just add and remove EAs and it will download them and install them on the server, put them in the right directory on MT4, and also keep them updated. If there's any updates to that EA, it will automatically download the update, and then you can easily run the MT4 from here. So I can deactivate and activate my MT4s from just here. So if I want to turn it off, I just click deactivate, it will shut it down on the remote server. If I want to turn it back on, I click activate here. So whenever a new strategy gets added or removed or updated, it will come up with a little message saying you need to restart, so you click restart, but I'll go through all that in a moment. Okay, to set up your server on Amazon, you will need to create a Amazon Web Services account, which is different to a normal Amazon account. It's an Amazon Web Services account. There's a link here. If you go to strategy deployment and you haven't set up the VPS, you'll have some info here. There'll be a link to create an AWS account or sign into an existing AWS account. So click one of those links. I'm going to sign into my existing one. Let me just log out here so I can show you. So I'll sign into an existing account. It does take a little while, 5-10 minutes or something, to set up the Amazon account, so make sure you've got that set up and ready to go. So once I've signed in, it's actually quite sort of a complicated system here, but we'll get through the bits that we need to do. The first thing you'll need to do is change your region to the region that this server is that you're going to copy. You're just going to copy my trade server, so you makes things a lot easier to set up. So next to your name here there's a region, and you need to make sure you're in this US West Oregon region. You might be in Ohio or wherever, but this is where the VPS is, so select that region there. Make sure you're in that region because you won't find it otherwise. Now the next thing, you go to services. Under the first one here is EC2 under compute. So you click on EC2. Another complicated screen comes up, but on the left hand side here we want to go to instances. I've got a whole bunch here, but you probably won't have any in your list. But what I want to do is launch instance. Now the next step is to go to community AMIs. So there's a whole bunch here, but you don't want them. You want community AMIs, this one here in the sub menu, and then you search community AMIs for Quant Black, and I think you have to have those capital Q and B as well, but if you do that you'll see there should only be one that comes up, Quant Black Trade Server. Hit the select button. Okay, now it should by default select this T2 micro, that's the size of the server, and it also says free tier eligible, so that's the one we want because that should be fine to run our server. Click the blue button down the bottom, review and launch. Another screen comes up, but then just click launch in the bottom right here. You might have to scroll down a bit, but yeah, click launch. Now you should have to create a new key pair. I've already got one there, but you might have to create a new key pair. This is a file that will be downloaded, so I might just call it server password. It will be a file that gets downloaded to your computer, which you use to decrypt the password. So just download it, download key pair. It'll go to your downloads, server password.pem, so just remember where that is, and then click launch instance. You're now launching an instance, and you scroll down a bit to view instances, another blue button, and like I said, I've got a whole bunch here, but you should just have one here coming up. It takes a little while to initialize the instance, so give it about 30 seconds. While it's doing that, you can give it a name like Quant Black Server. And it'll take a minute to initialize there. Okay, so once your server is running, and now it says running over here, we can connect to it. So to do that, next to the blue button up here, there's a connect button, and it shows here a public DNS, which is essentially the address of your server. That's what you need to connect to, but the easiest way is just to download this remote desktop file. So if I click that, one of these files will download here. If I click show in folder on Chrome, it's that's the public DNS name, which is quite long. It's not that informative, so I might just rename that to QB server, something like that. You can copy that to your desktop or pin it to your taskbar or whatever you want to do with it. But if I double click on that, it will connect. Well, I might come up with a little warning first. I usually click don't ask me again. It'll connect to your server. It'll ask for the password. So if I go back to my web page here, this button here that says get password, click on that get password, and that key pair that we downloaded earlier called server password, all we got to do is choose that file, server password PEM, find it was just in my downloads. I usually just leave it there. It'll have a whole bunch of garbage here, and then just click decrypt password, and this is your password for your server. It's quite a long gibberish password, but if we just copy that and go back to our remote desktop, so this remote desktop thing that we had up that was asking for the password, and paste that in there. Now if you click remember me, it should hopefully save that password in there, so you don't have to copy that in every time. So then we can connect. Again, there will be another warning. I just click don't ask me again. I click yes, and this is going to connect to our server, which is running in the US. It'll show us the desktop of the server. And take a second to set up. So once we've set all this up, then we don't have to do it again. We've got it running, and we just access it through our Quant Black web console. But I've just logged into my remote server, so this is the desktop of the computer that's running in the US. If I minimize that, that's back to my normal computer, and if I go back here, that's the desktop of the computer that's running in the US that we just created. Now, the main thing you want on here is QB dashboard. This reinstall QB trade server is only if something's really not working, but QB dashboard, if you click that, it will start, and it'll do an update first, make sure the software's up to date. It'll launch the server, and then a web page should open up with the Quant Black trade server dashboard. Now if you wanted to change the server password of this server we've just created, instead of that gibberish string, you can actually create your own password here and click change password. But if you do that, there's no way to recover it if you forget it, so it's probably best just to leave it as is. Now you'll need to log into your Quant Black console, so you use your Quant Black login. I'll put in my test account here. Once you've logged in, it will remember it, so you won't have to do it again. Okay, you could click save there if you wanted to. Alright, now I've logged in, and now it's by default it's set up 4 different MT4s, 2 for IC markets and 2 for Pepperstone. There's one for a live account, one for a demo account. Now what we want to do is start one of these and put in our trade account details. Once we've done that, then we don't need to use this server again, so I'm just going to activate this demo account. Will take a minute to start up MT4, maybe not a minute, but 10 seconds or so. Here it is, MT4 started down the bottom. So I'll have to set up my trade account, so I'm using demo number 2, existing trade account. What's my demo account number? I'll put one in here, it is. And the password. Yeah, so I've put in my password here. Make sure the save account information is ticked there, because you want that to be saved. And when you log in, you should get your account come up here if you've logged in okay. Otherwise, click on journal down the bottom here. It might have some information why you couldn't log in. So essentially that's all we need to do to set up the trade server. I will show you can activate another MT4, so if I wanted one for live trading and one for demo trading, I've just activated that one. See, two MT4s have come up here. So that was my first one, this is my second one, and I can type in, say, for example, my live account information and have two of those set up. So now we've finished setting up the server, we could actually click close and get out of the remote desktop connection. I'm just going to minimize it because I'm going to flick back here to show you what's going on behind the scenes, but you can click close, you're done with that. Alright, so we're back to our computer. If I go back to the Quant Black console, I'll just reload this page, because now that we've set up the server, that page should look different. When it's loaded, it will show us our 4 different MT4s that we have on the server. So I might not use, if I don't want to use the Pepperstone ones, I can just click hide just to get them out of the way. So I've got our two IC markets MT4s, so I can turn one off if I want. It will turn it off on the server. If I turn both of them off and I've gone back to my server here, I can't see them running anymore. So if I activate them from here, it will turn them on the server. So I've just flicked back to the server again just to show you. See how it's opening up the MT4s, and it'll log in and everything. So you can turn them on and off from the web console. Now here's the public strategies you can put on your server. There's 4 of them there. You can upload your own as well, and that will appear in the list. So let's say on my live account I wanted follow the money and slipped. It's come up a message here that I've added or removed or updated an EA on a server, so I need to restart that MT4. So I can do that once I've set up all my strategies. So on my demo account I might want these 2 strategies running. On my live account I might want these 2 strategies running. And then I just click the restart buttons for both those MT4s. And it's going to restart those MT4s on the server. Again, I can flick back here just to show you what's happening. See, it's started up MT4, it's loading a whole bunch of charts, it's making sure it has all the price data that it needs, and it's set up here, QB take 2 strategy on one chart, and it's set up yen squared on another chart. So that was the it's all set up. The EAs have been downloaded and put in here. They've been added to a chart. They've been set up and they're running now. So, and they'll get updated if there's an update to the EA. They'll automatically be updated. I go back to my dashboard. You can see my strategies are connected. And if there is an update to the strategy, a little message will come up saying you need to restart. You click the restart button. But apart from that, it's all good to go.